Hi all, welcome to my channel. My name is Brittany. I am a cut flower gardener in Garden Zone 6A in Hudson Valley, New York. I have Owen joining me behind me, but today I'm going to talk about what I am direct seeding into my garden along with what I'm transplanting into my garden as well. I will also post a separate video of my winter sowing method, which still is out here with me, and talk about that success or failure there as well. So that'll be a separate video, but I'm slowly going to take it bed by bed and start direct seeding and transplanting my flowers that I grew from seed indoors. I also have dahlia tubers as well that I'm going to be planting out today. So whichever interests you of all three of these, whether it's transplanting dahlia tubers, how to plant them, or direct seeding, be sure to like and subscribe. All of my content is very focused around cut flowers. It's where my passion lies. So excited to share that with you and go ahead and dive in. All right, so diving into what I'm direct seeding into my garden this year, a couple things to consider when you're direct seeding is the planting spacing that you'll need, along with the planting depth. So we'll kind of take it one by one and go through that. And I'll also show you when I dive into my beds. But something else to call out too is none of these seeds can tolerate frost. So make sure you're Googling your specific last frost date for your garden zone. I'm 6A, so I'm around mid-May, towards end of May for my last frost date. And make sure to plant these out after that date. So the flowers that I am planting are Nasturtium. I will be planting out as well. These will probably be more in pots. So I not only have 8 raised beds, but I also have rock beds around my house and my shed that I plant into as well. But these I think I will pot up. I have this dill, and then I have basil. I have a few varieties of basil. I have Miss Burns lemon. I have red Reuben, which is like a purple basil that's really beautiful. And then I also have it's this hybrid downy mildew resistant basil, and it says red DMR. So not really sure the full name there, but these were just ones that called to me when I was searching for seeds in Johnny Seeds. And then these are the top 3 easiest cut flowers in my opinion to grow. So if you need to start somewhere, start anywhere and get growing, these are the ones to start with. That would be sunflower. I love the variety that sunflowers offer. So a lot of times, of course, people think of like the bright yellow sunflowers, but I love to play around with color more. So I have a few varieties. So I have hybrid branching sunflowers, and then I also have the pro cut ones. So the pro cut ones are just going to give you one beautiful bloom and then they're done. Whereas the hybrid, you can keep cutting and come again. With the hybrid branching, I have strawberry blonde, which is a really beautiful color. I have chocolate. I love a dark moody flower. So the chocolate looks beautiful in arrangements. I also have a pro cut red, which is a beautiful red color. And then this is new to me, but I have Pro Cut Lemon Light, which is a beautiful buttery yellow. And then Pro Cut Peach Light. And then I also have Pro Cut White Night. So these are a wonderful focal flower in arrangements. I highly recommend. And then next I have up some Zinnias, which are also a top favorite cut flower for me and to me the easiest to grow as well. I have Queenie Lime Orange. The Queenie series are just more full. I find the vase life is longer too, so I really enjoy growing those. I have Queenie Lemon Peach. I also have a Jazzy mixed Zinnias, which are a smaller scale, which is just really nice as like a filler in arrangements as well. I like playing around with size and shape, so being able to have that. The color in these is really pretty too. I also have Queenie Limey with Blush. I have a beautiful linen zinnia from Johnny Seeds that's newer. So I'm really excited to try that one. It's exactly as it sounds. It's a very like neutral linen color. And then I have Uproar Rose, which is a really pretty pink that I'm excited to try. And then Zowie Yellow Flame, which is really cool. It's almost like a yellow on the outside and orange on the inside. And then Persian Carpet is another smaller shaped zinnia that I enjoy growing as filler in my arrangements. And these are also cut and come again. So you can cut them all season long once they're in bloom, and they will just come back all the way through your, first frost of the season. Next is another super easy flower to grow is Cosmos. So for me this year, I'm sticking more to the double. So I have double click cranberry, and then I also have double click bicolor violet, which I grew last year and it was stunning. Oh yeah, I see that, bud. And then I have just a double click mix too. So I'll kind of be adding those in throughout the beds, and I'll share that. Next up, I have some Shirley poppies. Those will be going, and some breadseed poppies and frosted salmon. Those will be more in my rock bed. And then I have some Queen Anne's lace that will also go more into like my rock bed area. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm direct seeding into my specific beds. And then I also have some that I'm going to be doing on the hillside up here. So with that, I have a shade mix, which I'm excited to kind of just add to like the border to dress that up a little bit more, especially when I'm taking photos out here in the garden. And then I am very excited to try for the first time growing pumpkins and watermelons. Yeah, I see Bud. Yeah, I see Luna's digging. Is she digging in the garden? Yeah. So I have Speckled Hound, which is a really beautiful greenish, like colored pumpkin with orange. I have Porcelain Doll, which is exactly as it sounds. It's like just a beautiful, like super light peachy color. And then I have Junona too. And then for watermelons, I just have a smaller watermelon, which is hybrid triploid watermelon, and it's called Ocelot. So I'm new to pumpkins and watermelons. Comment below if you have any tips and tricks there. I'm excited to go ahead and get those planted. Again, more in the hillside, and it's just a trial and error situation for me. We'll see what works, what doesn't. My kids love both of these both pumpkins and watermelons, so they'll be excited to have those. But yeah, that's what I'm direct seeding. So I'll share as I go through my beds and plant, but certainly take a stab at planting any of these. They're super easy to grow and they're beautiful. And a good majority of them are cut and come again, where you can cut them all season long and enjoy them all season long and bringing them into your home. Okay, so now I wanted to share what I'm transplanting this year. Something to call out is I am headed to Japan, so I'm having to plant these babies out a little earlier than I anticipated. So, you know, not the best example in regards to like scale that they should be at to transplant, but we're just going to go ahead and give it a shot and see what works, what doesn't, and happy to report back when I get back from Japan. Over here though, I have a good mix. So I have already transplanted some more like cold tolerant flowers out into the garden, which are over here. I have Snapdragon, Lisianthus, and Columbine, and then I have some existing peonies back there as well. But over here, I'm going to be planting out. I have dahlias that I grew from seed back there from Floret that I'm really excited to see come to fruition. I have some Gomphrena. I have some ornamental grass. I have some campanella, and then I have a ton of Celosia. I have some Columbine. I have more Gomphrena, I believe. And then I have some Rudbeckia lavender. That's going to go more in my rock beds because that will come back year over year. And then I have some marigolds as well as scabiosa and strawflower too. So that's my list for transplanting, and I'm excited to get those out in the garden. On top of this, again, I'm going to do a separate video of what I'm sharing from my winter sow method, because some of that will also make it to both my raised beds and my rock garden, but that will be a completely separate video. But this is just what I grew under my grow lights indoors ahead of the growing season that I will be planting out. So I'm going to move these winter sow containers and plant up my sunflowers. So I have a mix. I have, again, that strawberry blonde, but I have a mix mainly of branching and pro cut. So just to speak to that difference, they do have different spacing that they like to be planted. So for pro cut, it says after last frost, of course, plant 1/2 inch deep. And then for this as well, they like spacing of 4 to 6 inches apart. So the pro cut can be spaced a little bit tighter because you're just getting, again, that single stem from it. Whereas the branching is going to need a bit more spacing. So with branching, it's asked for 18 to 24 inches of spacing between the seeds that you're going to plant. So I'm going to map this out in the bed behind me and then go ahead and get planting. But again, it's like a 1/2 inch deep that they prefer to be planted. And then I will go ahead after I get them planted and water them in with my hose. And then continuously as they germinate, it's super important that they don't dry out. So I will come out here each morning, of course, provided it doesn't rain, and give it a good watering behind me. Okay, just to speak back to the spacing again. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to do some branching on either side. maybe one in the middle as well. And then I'm going to pop around my pro cuts that require way less spacing, again, that 4 to 6 inch mark. That way I'll have the branching that I'll be able to keep cutting and coming back. And then I'll have the single cut sunflowers as well. That way it doesn't look so sad once I do cut those pro cuts. Something else to call out too is that succession sowing is super helpful with especially pro cut because you only get that one stem. So if you don't want them all to kind of come into fruition all at once and be overwhelmed and not able to use them all, you can succession plant. So of course, what that means is just maybe you plant a set now, wait another couple weeks, plant another set, and so on and so forth, depending on how many successions you want of that specific flower. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and again, I'll probably do like a few branching here, like 2 here, 2 here, and maybe 2 here. And then I'm just going to sprinkle in throughout with that 4 to 6 inch spacing with the pro cuts and go ahead and get started. Moving on to my next bed, which is the one right here behind me. It's actually, I believe I housed my zinnias in this same bed last year, but I'm excited to plant them out. So again, I have a pretty good mix like I spoke to in the beginning of the video, but I just wanted to cover what spacing and planting depth looked like for them. So for zinnias, you're going to want to direct seed about a 1/4 inch deep. And then they also do need spacing of 9 to 12 inches apart. Again, this flower is so lovely for cut and come again. It's a great filler flower. I absolutely love it as a supporting flower in arrangements, and such a wide range of colors and varieties to be had, along with scale, like I said, in size and shape of them too. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get this bed planted. I don't want to bore you too much with watching me dig in the dirt, but it's pretty simple. You just want to plant the seed a 1/4 inch deep. I like to plant at least 2 seeds per spacing, just to make sure that germination happens. And then what I will do is thin them out after. And thinning out just means, unfortunately, cutting down one of the two if both seedlings pop off and germinate. But yeah, we'll go ahead and dive in and get these planted. I'm showing you what the seedlings look like for zinnias. They're pretty good size. Like I said, I'll also do 2 per spacing. So I'll bring you in and just show you what that looks like. Okay, so I'm pretty much just gauge, using my own best judgment. And then I'm just going to do lines. So I'll do a line through here, through there, and then through there. And just kind of keep the spacing, like I said, that 9 to 12 inches apart. I see a very, very giant spider right now. Ugh. Well, hopefully he eats all the bugs as my seedlings germinate and keeps them away from the flowers. So yeah, I'll go literally one by one and just make rows here with the different zinnias that I have. I'm going to try to play around and pop in different colors throughout to make it really colorful versus like 1 row of orange, 1 row of pink, and kind of pop back and forth with the different seeds. Okay, so next I'm going to be adding in some cosmos as well to this bed behind me. And then I am going to plant some in between where I put my dahlia tubers. Last year that worked out well, where I kind of sprinkled a little bit of cosmos in between my dahlias and they came up fine. I do always just like run out of room and buy so many seeds that it's hard to find the space sometimes. So for cosmos, they like to be direct seeded. It says sow after last frost, of course, which we've already covered. Covering seeds lightly. So these I won't be planting in at that like specific depth like we did for the sunflowers and zinnias. We'll just cover them really lightly so that the light can aid in their germination. And then they do need support. So something to call out, I'm putting these in beds where I will already have support, which is my dahlias. I haven't found a need to offer support to my zinnias. Sunflowers, they do need support as well. At least the branching varieties can get really heavy, like the heads of them. So I'll be putting support back there as well. So just something to call out. But yeah, super simple to get these planted and started. These are in my top 3 category for easiest flowers to grow. These sunflowers and zinnias if you needed to start somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to be transplanting in this bed behind me, Strawflower, Celosia, and Gomphrena. So I do have my Gomphrena here, my Celosia here, and then my Strawflowers in another tray. Something to call out is they all require pinching, which when they get about 8 to 12 inches tall, and they have at least 3 sets of leaves, what I will do is go ahead and go in and pinch off just the top node right above a set of leaves. So I'll make a separate video for that, but just something to call out that all of these do much better in the cut flower garden if you go ahead and pinch them after transplanting. So these have been hardening off for about a week now, so we're ready to plant them out. I did hope to have a couple more weeks with my Strawflower under the grow lights, but unfortunately I have a trip to Japan, so I no longer have time to do that, to give them more time inside. So we'll see what shakes out, what works, what doesn't, but these are pretty good size for transplanting, so I'm excited to go ahead and get started. Spacing is really important. I'll likely space all of these about 8 inches apart. And then I'll probably do a section of Celosia and then like mix the rest in, but very similar in spacing. You can provide, larger spacing if you want, but for me, I'm doing this for cut flowers and I find that it just helps them kind of stay upright more, and the tighter spacing has worked for me in the past, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it again. Again, that's like a 6 to 8 inch spacing as you're going ahead and planting them out. Okay, so I'm finishing up the bed behind me. So far we have the Celosia, the Gomphrena, and the Strawflower planted up. This tray is not where I hoped it would be, but I am again headed out to Japan for a month, so it is what it is. Last year I planted seeds that were similar in scale to this. Some made it, some didn't. So just really this will be a trial and error. Not holding out too much hope. I can always add into my garden when I return. So I have some marigold over here. Those I will likely pot up. Those like about 8 to 12 inches of spacing. And then the amaranth that I have on this end that is not very large at all, likes about 12 to 18 inches of spacing. So I'm just going to finish out this bed with the amaranthus, and then the marigolds will pot up around the rock garden and maybe even use some on the border in the rock garden as well. All right, so that's a wrap. Everything's planted throughout my garden, so I'm really excited to show you an update in the coming months when everything's in full bloom, but really excited. I watered everything in except again those dahlia tubers, but yeah, all planted. Please like and subscribe if you're interested in more cut flower gardening, and more to come shortly in the future.